I'm just really appreciating this, yo. Like, I'm listening to what's good, y'all? Back at it again with another reaction. If you're new to the channel, my name is Shadiq, and you're not locked on KRXOVR Media. Because I couldn't get to do V9's most recent song, Do It, as a reaction, I had to prioritize this one. Especially seeing this lineup, V9 and Billy in particular, right? Just as a duo. Lena called it. This is the year of the duos. Every single duo song that's dropped has been cold, so I know this one is going to work out very well. They're just coming from two different worlds, musically and sonically, in my opinion, but they also just make sense at the same time. And also the 98, so you know, they're going to find their ways to make it make sense as well. But listen, man, I don't want to hold y'all too much longer. Let's get it. When they were teasing this, it just looked mad funny. Well, when they were like showing the behind the scenes online. I want to hear what they do. Hey, come here.
Hands in my heart won't do you wrong, I promise. Unless you're up, and hands in my heart, I'm trying. Sometimes it feels long. See them gotta do man wrong. My angle of arms, tip through gums. Right or wrong, I'll get man gone. Up the store, watching a man run. Gus, stop on telling Gus. Grab a shotgun, blow away his guns. Run that down, let me juice that up. Can't stand still for snap.
Yo, V9 is improving. OD. You know what? If we're doing like an award show or something for the end of the year, we have to give V9 and Trizak most improved, in my opinion. Like, V9's flow on this one is insane. In terms of like staying consistent with his style, but also feeling like refreshed and refined.
Do you wrong, I promise. Unless you're up, and hands in my heart, I'm trying. Sometimes it feels long. See them gotta do man wrong. My angle of arms, tip through gums. Right or wrong, I'll get man gone. Up the store, watching a man run. Gus, stop on telling Gus. Grab a shotgun, blow away his guns. Run that down, let me juice that up. Can't stand still for snap the stun. Don't get hit by the gun, it's not sight. Confirm this one. You're the chosen one. Don't get caught with a loaded gun. Get hit in your head, turn dumb. I'm stunned, he survived, that's nuts. I for the homeboy, turn once. I was pissed, as fuck. So life go, it's calm. Let's go again, it's group in the dark. Look at the light of the sparks.
I'm in the back of the thing on falls, tryna flat on the falls.
I'm just really appreciating this, yo. Like, I'm listening to it just like, V9, you've outdone yourself. If you see this, shout out to you. Like, keep going. Like, the growth, it's audible, it's noticeable. Like, yeah.
I'm stunned, he survived, that's nuts. I for the homeboy, turn once. I was pissed, as fuck. So life go, it's calm. Let's go again, it's group in the dark. Look at the light of the sparks.
I'm in the back of the thing on falls, tryna flat on the falls. I'm always putting my strikers on rolls, they can't be hitting the poles. Solicitor telling me I need to ghost, I'm really doing the most. Mama told me that she got diagnosed, but it wasn't her time to go. Hardcore like December, I want death.
I'm happy to hear the 98s being more vulnerable in their music, right? That's something that we need from artists in general, right? Like, we know what you could do on drill, we know what you sound like, you know, talking to crud, but like, let us know your life, like, to the degree in which it's not compromising and you're comfortable, right? Like, even like when Billy said, what he said about like his brother, in previous songs, I remember it even more vividly from the Groundwork cipher in particular, right? Just the smaller moments where they're kind of giving you these inklings to things that they've experienced. I just checked out KO and Jimmy's recent song too. They also tapped in a little bit more into their personal life as well. So I'm glad to hear them taking this approach.
Solicitor telling me I need to ghost, I'm really doing the most. Mama told me that she got diagnosed, but it wasn't her time to go. Hardcore like December, I want death, no surrender. You my brother, not a member, put the bulge in the blender. Keep it sprayers, I don't rent her, I don't even like to lend her. Me and bro was in boss, I got the call, we had to send her.
Don't even worry, I'm gonna let them know. Billy, what are you doing, V? I beg you tell this guy, please. What's my suppose? Don't worry, I'm gonna let them know. God. Man, they're gonna shut us down, man. What are you gonna do? Shut who down, fam? Lock the doors, innit? Right, that. His hairline can pay for itself. When he was good, don't worry.
I see they're taking this like kind of sitcom approach to it, right? Yeah, that's dope.
Man, I'm good, bro.
That's dope.
You gotta think of something quick, man. You gotta think. Chat to me. No, you're the manager, fam. You pay money. Bro, it's gotta be big.
Keep chatting till we roll up. Hello, holding one like a donut. Backwards settings, get rolled up. Brand new rappers, a super soaker.
And by the way, I heard it, hole in one. I get it, right? It's pretty evident from the beginning. But I'm just genuinely appreciating everything about this. Like the video approach is unique. That's something I've been kind of getting on some of the directors lately in my head. Like kind of the videos are starting to feel a little bit too generic. Like it's the same editing style, same just everything. This one has just enough of a theme so it doesn't feel too forced, but it matches, and it's also very much so complimenting the artist too. But I'm just appreciating all the small things about this.
I need some closure. Oh shit, right like Motorola. Do my Nova, run him over, run up to him, game over.
Game over, I don't know what came over me. Anything approach over me, there ain't no controlling me.
There's no controlling me like hope. Smash heads and ghosts, in that legend, I'm a goat. Retro steppers on vote, brand new rap, no serious smoke. Tap it, let's go. Wait, stop, tap, let's go. They love up the net, some hoes. Will it hold, make a grow my joke. Make a young boy sing, reach and you receive. That shows your face and knees, so get spit about.
I must say there hasn't been a single moment where in my head I'm just like, damn, like there's a delivery mistake that I feel like walks, but like everything about this is probably V9's best performance in my opinion, in terms of just clarity, in terms of consistency, just everything about it. I still think that Do It is probably my personal favorite song from him so far sonically.
Do it for you, do it for me, to me to you like Jim, I swim.
Right, in terms of like how everything kind of comes together in terms of the sound, but in terms of what he's delivering as just the artist, this is definitely his best work in my opinion.
I have my tape, it's cool, you can live another day like Bond. Don't get put in a pod, some man's so play 3 months talk.
Bad one clingy, hunting glizzy.
Okay.
I can sing like Drizzy.
Okay.
Got thingies on top of thingies, don't get shot with your Lizzie. Trap has giddy, what has giddy, I run a fucking chameleon. We flood in the wings
You
in
really
HMP
do.
to gang right back on with me.
Turn it back a little bit.
We flood in the wings in HMP to gang right back on with me. I'm selling Broski the keys, I need my brother's release. Got men out riding them birds for me, I'm selling postals every week. I keep a match cause it's peak, back to rats I'll never speak.
Damn. I wasn't even finna talk in the situation. I'm not gonna talk in the situation, but I'm just gonna say that the lyrics here are very timely and a little bit ironic to a degree, but it also goes to show just how real their realities outside of the music are. Like I was saying this in the KO and Jimmy reaction too, right? Like we can criticize these artists for saying that, oh, like why y'all still doing certain things or living a certain life or whatever the case may be, but it's like just to kind of completely unlearn all the habits that you had to embrace for upwards of the majority of your life in order to survive. Like you can't just drop that now that you're in a particular position. Like people still want your head. It ain't like they making enough money to just move to Beverly Hills or something, right? Like little things like that. But yeah, man.
Postals every week. I keep a match cause it's peak. Back to rats I'll never speak. Keep going hard for the team. Bitch, I'm a boss in the streets.
Keep chatting till we roll up. All in one like a donut. Backwards settings, get rolled up. Brand new rappers, a super soaker.
They ducking when we roll up. Let's gang in the motor. Put him in a roll up. I need some closure.
I need some closure. Oh shit, right like Motorola. Do my Nova, run him over, run up to him, game over.
Game over, I don't know what came over me. Anything approach over me, there ain't no controlling me.
Is Mortz on this? I think it's Mortz. Did a good job. It complements everything. And shout out to whatever was the shop that let them do this too. If this is an actual donut shop. If this is an actual donut shop.
Is that showroom?
Is Mortz on the... I'm not gonna go through that right now. Yeah, man, shout out to them. Did a very good job. So on this channel we hold the vowels, that means we're getting straight into it. I'm giving this one just below a 9. This song is the perfect example of how you can have two artists who may otherwise be polar opposites sit down and really create some synergy between themselves to make it make sense. I think that both of them gave us everything that we know and love from the 98s in general, like as a whole collective, but also from these two as artists. V9 in particular just continues to improve. Like he's definitely in the running in my opinion for most improved artist, especially by the end of the year, right? If he continues on this path. V9 has this thing that he does where he puts these dramatic pauses between his lines, and it's like no matter what he says, it is gonna hit so much harder just because it's like, what are you about to say? Then he says it, and sometimes it's something that's completely funny or just like outlandish. And while for some other artists, something like that may get kind of played out, for lack of a better way to put it, I think with V9, it just creates so much more anticipation for whatever it is he says. However, I will say that with the growth that we're hearing from his flow, I think that he can do more. All V9 needs moving forward is to just slightly reinvent his approach and his flow to kind of complement what we already know and love from him, just to kind of completely catch people off guard at some point, kind of like what Abs did, and I would say like Show Me, or honestly just throughout this whole 2020, right? The things that we know and love from Abs, but he just gave us this whole different sounds and flows and tones of voice and all of that. I think V9 needs to tap into that. Billy in particular has been doing it. He's been tapping more into just like straight rapping and not just being the singing 98, right? I appreciate that. I think that if he does more of the kind of going in and out of doing both, or maybe even having times where he's just rapping and then his own vocals are underneath his like audio track, kind of singing or whatever it is he's saying. I think he's probably done that before, but things like that, where it's experimenting a little bit more. But even with the familiarity and their approach with their flows here, the beat kind of complemented it in a way that made it feel completely fresh. It has that more kind of bubbly vibe to it a little bit, right, which matches the donut theme. It also doesn't really have that kind of Eastern Asian sound that we would really expect out of the 98s too, so I'm glad to hear that they're experimenting even more. So this one just goes to show that they have no problems just kind of constantly tapping into new sounds, new creative directions and everything. I really like how Billy continues to push the boundaries of tapping into more and more of his personal life with his music. He's talked about his brother in the past, he's talked about certain other things in the past, and this time around he talked about his mom. I don't think he's ever mentioned anything about anybody else really and truly in his life up until this point, at least not in my experience. So to hear something like that was really refreshing, especially considering the genre. I just wish that V9 could kind of start tapping into those kinds of approaches with his lyrics. I think that everything we've gotten from V9 so far feels very familiar. I don't think he's given us anything that we haven't gotten in terms of like emotion or thought processes or anything like that from previous songs. I feel like he's one of those artists where if one day he just takes a completely different approach, it will catch people so off guard that it just might go viral. I do think that what probably might prevent that would be kind of like the whole brand with the mask. I think that if he does switch it up a little bit too much, it may not kind of match that brand. But at the end of the day, I feel like as an artist, you should start to evolve more and more and tap into different things more and more. And V9, in my experience, is one of the only members in the 98s that I could think of who I don't think I've heard tap into like personal life or just kind of things outside of relatively generic subjects. So V9, if you're seeing this, there's not necessarily a criticism or me hating per se. It's just me saying I know that you have more in you musically. I think that if you kind of sit back for a little while and just completely reimagine yourself musically, you could probably catch people slipping with your next couple releases. Nonetheless, this is still a very replayable song. You can't really go wrong with Billy's vocals and also just V9 with just the borderline comical kind of bars and everything. It just really comes together in the end in a way that nobody else can really do. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below, and as always, hang tight for some more reactions. I do got more of those coming for y'all, but until next time, peace.